It's so good to be with you today. This past Sunday, we talked about Transfiguration. And if you remember, Transfiguration was a really, really big word that means a complete change of form or appearance into a more beautiful or spiritual state. It's a really big way of saying that things can go from being one way to another. And we talked about that in thinking about a butterfly, how it changes from a caterpillar to a butterfly. So we talked about that and how Peter and James and John were climbing a mountain with Jesus. And when they got to the top, Jesus transformed into this bright, shining being. And Moses and Elijah were there. And then they heard the voice of God. How in the world do you think they felt in those moments? I bet they never wanted it to end. Well, before we make some connections today, let's go hang out with Mr. Bruce. Take it away, Mr. Bruce.
Hi friends, today we're going to do another familiar one because we're not going to be able to sing it for a while. Here it is, Halle, Halle, Hallelujah. Here we go. Halle, Halle, Hallelujah. Halle, Halle, Hallelujah. Halle, Halle,
Welcome back. All right, today we are going to be reading the story called Miss Smith's Incredible Storybook. Now, this one, I want you just to lean back in your chair and imagine all of it coming to life as we read. It was the first day of school. Zach was waiting for his teacher to arrive. Boring, boring, he thought. Why would this year be any different from the last one? Then the door swung open. Good morning, class. My name is Miss Smith, and I am your new teacher. I bet she looks a little different than their other teachers. Miss Smith seemed very different from Zach's other teachers. But the day went along like every school day Zach could remember. Until Miss Smith said, "It's story time." When she sat at her desk and started to read from the book she had brought with her, Zach couldn't believe his eyes. The storybook characters came to life, and the classroom was swept up in a swashbuckling pirate tale. Zach and the rest of his class were right in the middle of the story. He could feel the breeze in his hair and hear the waves pounding on the side of the ship. From then on, Zach couldn't wait to go to school. Every day there was a new story to look forward to. When Miss Smith finished reading, all the characters and adventure whooshed back into the book. On Friday, Principal Rittenrotten stood in front of the class instead of Miss Smith. Miss Smith is stuck in traffic, so she has asked me to read to you until she arrives," he announced. Zach wondered what would happen next. Principal Rittenbrotten started to read. Zach grinned when a princess leaped out of the book, followed closely by a fire-breathing dragon and a brave knight on his horse. Principal Rittenrotten was so surprised that all he could do was scream and throw the book right up in front. "I'm going for help," he called over his shoulder as he ran out the door. There's the fire-breathing dragon over there. Before Zach could think of anything to do, Sue Ann pounced on the storybook. But she didn't finish the dragon story. She started reading another one instead. The princess, the dragon, and the knight did not return to the book, but 3 bears and Goldilocks climbed out. Freddie, the class clown, jumped out of his seat and tried to yank the book away. When Sue Ann let go, he tumbled backward and the book flew across the room. The whole class laughed. Billy caught the book and started reading it from a news story. Zach shook his head in amazement when the Mad Hatter, the Cheshire Cat, and Alice popped out to join the others. As the book passed from kid to kid, one character after another flew out of the pages. The classroom was getting very crowded. "This is trouble," Zach said to himself. The chaos was beginning to spill out into the halls. "Why don't you finish the stories?" Zach pleaded, but no one was listening. So there's the Scarecrow from The Wizard of Oz. I guess that is the lion from Wizard of Oz. Humpty Dumpty. Let's see what else. Robin Hood. The Horseless Headman. Headless Horseman. Let's see what else. So we've still got the 3 bears, and we've got the princess and the fire-breathing dragon. 3 little pigs. Oh my goodness, what a mess they have gotten into. Miss Smith brought her car to a screeching stop in front of the school. "Uh-oh, there seems to be a little problem," she said to herself as she raced inside. So there is the rabbit, I think from Alice in Wonderland. Let's see, Robin Hood again. Ooh, Jack and the Beanstalk. Little Red Riding Hood. Yep, and there's the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz. Oh my goodness, such a mess. Meanwhile, Zach was shouting, "We have to finish the story so the characters will go back into the book." But the storybook characters didn't want to go back. A tug of war began. Miss Smith appeared in the doorway. With one look, she let everyone know she meant business. Can you see that look on her face? Even the dragon was suddenly silent. Zach handed the book back to Miss Smith. She ruffled through the pages, adjusted her glasses, and started to read. The class was spellbound as she finished each story in turn. With a swirl and a whoosh, one character after another disappeared into the book until the classroom was quiet and tidy again. Principal Rittenrotten and a team of firefighters skidded to a halt at the door, just as Miss Smith closed her book. "May I help you, Principal Rittenrotten?" asked Miss Smith. But The principal couldn't seem to answer. He just stared at the quiet class with his mouth wide open. Miss Smith flashed a secret smile at her class. Zach smiled right back. Who would ever have guessed that reading could be so much fun? Much like Peter, James, and John did not want to come down from the mountain, the animals and the characters from the storybooks did not want to go back in. They wanted to stay and experience what it was like to be together and have all the fun. They didn't want the experience to end. Peter, James, John, and Jesus came down the mountain and did not tell at first. And just like Miss Smith's class didn't tell, they wanted their secret safe. Now, Peter, James, John, and Jesus chose not to tell for different reasons. A lot of people weren't really understanding Jesus. And so Jesus was asking for Peter, James, John, and the disciples not to say so much. Like, don't tell anyone this happened yet. Or don't talk about it just right now. We can talk about it later. But a lot of people didn't really like that Jesus was Jesus. Remember when the wise men came and they went to King Herod and said, "Hey, have you met the new king yet?" And King Herod was like, I'm the king. What do you mean, new king? They had to be careful. And part of being careful was keeping these things quiet. So as we go through our days, I want you to think about all the amazing things that Jesus was able to do that we might not even know about. There's probably stories out there about healing and miracles that never even made it into the Bible. That's pretty cool to think about. I'm really glad that the story of the Transfiguration did, because knowing that God came and said, "Hey, he's my kid and you need to listen to him," is a pretty cool way to know that Peter, James, and John heard the message. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll see you soon.